many people are treating 2026 like it's the whole story. If they don't get this year right, they're behind forever. That is not how life works. 2026 is a chapter, and chapters don't change because you think differently. They change because you train differently under pressure. Here's a mistake I'm seeing so many people make. They're waiting for clarity. They're waiting for confidence. They're waiting for things to calm down. They're waiting for that perfect moment. But pressure doesn't wait, and chaos isn't temporary. So if you don't train how to respond inside uncertainty, this chapter gets written automatically, not by intention, but by reaction. By setting back in your old habits, your own comfort zone, those areas where you don't have the pressure, but they're also the areas that have gotten you nowhere. Under pressure, you don't rise under your goals. You fall to your nervous system. That is why smart, capable people, they overreact in key moments, they freeze when decisions matter, and they second guess themselves after the fact. It's not a discipline issue. It's not even a motivation issue. It's an untrained emotional regulation. High performers don't control outcomes. They control how they show up when outcomes are not clear. They don't need certainty to act. They don't collapse when plans change. They don't hand their authority to circumstances. What they do is they build an internal stability first. They're agile. Then they navigate. That is emotional resilience under pressure. Let's take a look at 3 skills that can change the 2026 chapter for you this year. The first one is regulation before pressure. Most people try to stay calm during pressure, but it's too late. You train regulation before the moment even hits. You could do that by staying grounded while uncomfortable, holding tension without rushing to escape, and practicing presence when things feel unresolved. This is how pressure stops hijacking your thinking. Number 2 is separate identity from circumstance. When something feels unstable, people internalize it and make it about them. They'll say to themselves, maybe, something must be wrong with me. That's identity collapse. That's making it all about you. High performers train this distinction. This chapter is happening. It's not who I am. When you stop letting circumstances define you, you regain authority fast. Number 3 is shorten your recovery time. Pressure isn't the problem. It's everywhere. But staying stuck after it is a problem. If one meeting bleeds into the next decision, your chapter gets heavier than it needs to be. High performers don't avoid stress. Stress is part of their life. They recover quickly and they move forward clean. 2026 doesn't need to be perfect. Perfection doesn't exist. It needs to be intentional. This can be the chapter for you where you stop reacting and start choosing, where you build stability instead of emotional fatigue, and you stay clear when things feel uncertain. Not because life got any easier, but because you got steadier, you got stronger, you got clear. Clarity under pressure isn't luck, it's a skill. And this chapter is still being written. If you want to understand why pressure hijacks you in the first place, watch this next video where I break down what actually happens in your nervous system when stakes rise and how high performers interrupt it before they shut down. And if you found this content helpful, if you found it valuable, please consider sharing, please consider subscribing, and we will see you all next time.